What brand comes to mind when you think of luxury in the automotive world? For most people, it's Mercedes-Benz, and rightfully so. The name has become virtually synonymous with prestige, refinement, and commanding road presence. If you're in the market for a vehicle that exudes upscale sophistication, superior build quality, and the kind of elegance that turns heads without trying too hard, Mercedes-Benz is often the top contender. Especially in the realm of compact executive sedans, the C-Class has historically served as the gateway to this upper echelon of automotive excellence. But here's where things get interesting. In the 2020s, the luxury car market has evolved. European automakers, particularly the German giants like BMW and Audi, are steering their brands toward dynamism and athleticism. Mercedes, once known for plush rides and conservative elegance, found itself needing to adapt. This was especially true for the C-Class, which in earlier generations, despite its luxurious appeal, often fell behind when it came to driving excitement. But not anymore. Enter the latest generation Mercedes-Benz C-300, a car that doesn't just whisper luxury. It now confidently speaks the language of driving enjoyment, agility, and technology. It's still very much a Mercedes at heart, plush, quiet, composed, but it now knows how to have fun too. And in today's video, we're diving deep into the 2025 Mercedes-Benz C-300 to see if it truly holds its ground in what is arguably one of the most competitive segments in the market. This car is going up against titans like the BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, Alfa Romeo Giulia, and the fast-rising Genesis G70. So, is the C-300 still the king of the hill for those seeking a premium sedan around the $50,000 mark? Let's find out. First off, let's talk pricing. For 2025, the Mercedes-Benz C-300 starts at approximately $50,000. Now, that might sound a bit steeper than the Audi A4 or BMW 330i, but keep in mind, Mercedes has repositioned the C-Class. With the discontinuation of the A-Class sedan and the CLA class moving in a different direction, the C-Class is now tasked with being the face of Mercedes' entry luxury segment. That means it has to do more, feel more upscale, deliver on the promise of the best or nothing. And it does. The materials, the technology, and the overall attention to detail are a notch above what we used to see in this price range. You also get to choose from multiple trims, exclusive and pinnacle, each offering increasing levels of luxury, tech, and creature comforts. Our particular model is fitted with the AMG line package, which not only spices up the visual appeal but also enhances its sporty characteristics. Speaking of sporty, this isn't your old, soft-riding C-Class. For 2025, Mercedes has upgraded the chassis, revised the transmission tuning, and even introduced a mild hybrid system to complement the turbocharged 2.0-liter engine. This results in a drive that feels sharper, more responsive, and surprisingly lively. The car now feels dialed in, more connected to the road, and far more engaging than any C-Class before it. We'll dive into the driving dynamics later, but just know, it's no longer just about being comfortable, it's about being capable. But before we even hit the road, you notice the transformation in design. The exterior styling is a refined evolution of its predecessor, sleek, purposeful, and unmistakably Mercedes. Up front, full LED headlights bring a sense of precision and elegance. But what truly draws the eye are the sharply creased hood lines and the bold front grille, especially with the AMG line package's signature honeycomb mesh design. Down below, functional side air curtains improve aerodynamics while adding visual flair. Move along the side, and the C-300's proportions shine through, low, wide, and athletic. The 18-inch 5-spoke AMG wheels, finished with gloss black accents, provide a two-tone visual pop that perfectly balances luxury and aggression. The gloss black mirror caps, window trim, and reduced chrome elements all help create a more dynamic, modern aesthetic. Around back, the wraparound taillights evoke memories of the E-Class, lending this compact sedan a sense of maturity. Dual exhaust tips, finished in chrome and framed by a gloss black rear diffuser, hint at the car's performance aspirations without being ostentatious. And that subtle deck lid spoiler? A final classy touch, Step inside, and the real magic happens. The interior of the 2025 C300 is where Mercedes sets itself apart. You're greeted by power-adjustable, heated MB-Tech sport seats, plush, supportive, and aggressively bolstered. While this isn't the pinnacle trim with every bell and whistle, our AMG line-equipped model still feels like a mini S-Class. The dashboard and door panels are wrapped in soft MB-Techs with elegant stitching, and everything from the air vents to the touch points oozes quality. The flat-bottomed, leather-wrapped sport steering wheel fits perfectly in your hands, with tactile grip zones at the 9 and 3 and 10 and 2 positions, inviting you to drive with enthusiasm. And while real leather is an optional upgrade, the MB-Tech's material feels premium enough to satisfy most buyers. What really brings this cabin to life, though, is the tech. In front of the driver sits a fully digital gauge cluster, customizable and razor-sharp. Whether you want to see classic dials, navigation prompts, or real-time vehicle stats, you can tailor the display to your liking. While this particular model doesn't have the built-in navigation system, since it's not the exclusive or pinnacle trim, you can still connect your smartphone for full access to apps like Google Maps and Waze. The digital layout includes Sport, Classic, and Assistance views, and even a service layout where you can track oil levels, tire pressure, and maintenance needs. Touch-sensitive controls on the steering wheel let you navigate both the instrument cluster and the infotainment system. While some drivers prefer the tactile click of traditional buttons, these capacitive surfaces are responsive and intuitive, and after a short learning curve, they feel like second nature. And this is just the beginning. We haven't even started the engine yet. The real question remains, can the C300 deliver the driving thrills, comfort, and refinement to truly stand out in a crowded market of excellent contenders? Can it still claim to be the best luxury compact sedan in its class? That's what we're about to explore. So stick around, we're just getting started. What I really love, yes, truly love, about the 2025 Mercedes-Benz C300 is the inclusion of aluminum paddle shifters. That's a detail many manufacturers overlook these days. These aren't your average plastic paddles slapped behind the wheel as an afterthought. They feel solid, premium, and carry a tactile quality that enhances the driving experience. Not every brand at this price point puts effort into details like that. Mercedes does, and it shows. Now shifting gears, quite literally, let's take a look at the user interface. Front and center, you're greeted by a bold 11.9-inch vertically oriented touchscreen. It's vivid, intuitive, and comes loaded with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. Just below that, you'll find a menu bar for climate control functions. Yes, gone are the days of physical climate dials and knobs. Everything now lives digitally on screen, which might take some getting used to, especially if you're coming from a previous generation C-Class. If you're an owner of the older C300, there will definitely be a learning curve. Previously, you had a conjoined screen set up for your infotainment and gauge cluster, and yes, you still had physical buttons, something that's now becoming increasingly rare. In the 2025 model, it's all streamlined into this digital ecosystem. Everything from seat climate to ambient lighting to kinetic seat functions is tucked neatly into the interface. Fortunately, Mercedes has trimmed down the menus, making it more intuitive to navigate without getting overwhelmed by deep submenu jungles. And let's talk about sound. This model comes standard with a Burmester audio system, which already sounds excellent, and should be more than enough for most audiophiles. But if you're craving that extra depth and immersion, you can upgrade to the 3D surround version. Honestly, for a $50,000 luxury sedan, the standard setup is already a standout. Now back to the interface. If you're a younger buyer, perhaps a millennial or an older Gen Z, this setup will feel instantly familiar. It looks and behaves like an iPad or iPhone. It has widgets, clean transitions, and a highly responsive touch surface. You can scroll effortlessly through vehicle settings, comfort functions, and display elements such as the boost gauge. Yes, you can literally monitor your mild hybrid system's contribution on screen. That's not just cool, it's also useful. And beneath that massive display is your drive mode selector, giving you access to Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and Individual. Since this test vehicle features the AMG line package, you're getting a sport-tuned suspension as well, so Sport and Sport Plus actually make a noticeable difference. It's not just cosmetic badging, there's substance behind the style. Also integrated into the lower section of the screen are your volume controls and shortcut buttons. So thankfully, not everything is purely touch-based. There's still a tactile element to volume control, which makes quick adjustments easier when driving. Moving down to the center console, this is where Mercedes really impresses. You can conceal the two cup holders, two USB-C inputs, the wireless charging pad, and a cubby for your key fob. And better yet, there's no gloss black trim here. That means fewer fingerprints, fewer micro scratches, and far easier maintenance over years of ownership. It's a subtle but much appreciated decision for long-term usability. Open the standard size storage compartment, and you'll find enough space for a couple of smartphones, wallets, and even an extra USB-C outlet. Above your head, a panoramic moonroof stretches over the cabin, flooding the interior with natural light and adding to the feeling of spaciousness. Rear passengers are treated to around 36 inches of legroom. No, it's not class-leading, but it's perfectly competitive. If you're looking for something more family-oriented within the Mercedes-Benz lineup, the new E-Class would be the more practical choice. It offers more space both in the cabin and in the cargo area. That said, the C300's higher roofline does help considerably. Taller passengers won't find themselves brushing the headliner. That elevated ceiling goes a long way in enhancing rear seat comfort. However, fitting a third adult in the rear center seat? That's a hard no. The center tunnel is too aggressive, which is par for the course in this segment. So if carrying 5 passengers regularly is important to you, the E-Class or the GLC would be more appropriate options. For the back seat amenities, there are 2 center-mounted air vents. No heated outboard seats here, unfortunately. And there are no rear USB-C or USB-A outlets either. However, you do get a fold-down armrest with 2 integrated cup holders. Now let's circle around to the rear. The C300 does feature a power trunk, which is becoming standard in this class, but Mercedes takes it a step further. You get approximately 12.5 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row. That's better than what you'll find in the Alfa Romeo Giulia and the Genesis G70. For context, I fit 3 full bags of camera gear, a gimbal box, and a tripod back there, with room to spare. So for a road trip with 1 or 2 other people, you could comfortably fit 6 to 8 small to medium bags without an issue. What's more, Mercedes includes quick-release levers on both sides of the trunk to fold the second row seats down. That's something typically reserved for hatchbacks or crossover SUVs, so seeing it in a traditional sedan is a real bonus. And beneath the floor mat, you'll find a hidden compartment, ideal for storing laptops, tablets, or any valuables you'd prefer to keep out of sight. However, one caveat, there is no spare tire, something to keep in mind depending on where and how you plan to drive. Under the hood for 2025, the C300 carries a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing 255 horsepower and 295 lb-ft of torque. It's paired with a retuned 9-speed automatic transmission. And this is where things get interesting. Previous iterations of this 9-speed weren't exactly known for their responsiveness. They felt sluggish compared to the ZF 8-speed in the BMW 3 Series or the dual-clutch setup in the Audi A4. But now, it's a different story. This new calibration shifts quicker, smoother, and smarter. Alongside that, Mercedes has added a mild hybrid system, which smooths out low-speed operation and improves efficiency. The result? A much more refined and responsive drive than before. For a sedan hovering around the $50,000 mark, it feels luxurious and surprisingly dynamic. It's not just about comfort anymore, you get engagement too. From a luxury perspective, the C300 isolates you from the road better than many of its competitors. Sure, it's not going to feel like an S-Class, and you won't be swimming in excess refinement like a flagship sedan, but for its size and class, it's impressively quiet and composed. Even when you switch into sport mode and start to hear that turbocharged 4-cylinder working, it's never intrusive. On the highway, The powertrain delivers with confidence. The steering is nicely weighted, providing just enough feedback to keep things engaging. Acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour is around 6 seconds, right in line with its competitors. No, it won't outgun a BMW M340i. But that's not what this car is about. It's about balance. And that's really the theme here. This new C-Class is a jack of all trades. In a market where cars seem to lean either hard towards sportiness or luxury, the C300 offers both comfort when you want it and agility when you need it. BMW might deliver more precise dynamics. Audi might pack in more futuristic tech. Genesis and Alfa Romeo might skew toward pure performance. But the C300 sits right in the middle, calm, confident, and collected. Even though this hasn't always been my personal favorite, truth be told, I still have a soft spot for the W204 generation. I have to admit, the 2025 C300 is the most well-rounded version yet. It delivers on modern expectations, refines its driving dynamics, and still manages to feel unmistakably Mercedes-Benz. So if you're shopping for a luxury sedan around $50,000 that gives you comfort, technology, build quality, and a touch of excitement all under one roof, this might be the perfect balance you've been looking for.